Welcome to Paranormal Heart Podcast with host Kat Ward. Hello, my friends. Welcome to Paranormal Heart Podcast, paranormal talk with heart and soul. Tonight's segment is pre-recorded, streaming on United Public Radio Network 107.7 New Orleans and 105.3 the Gulf Coast, as well as YouTube and any place you find your favorite podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I really appreciate you guys. So, folks, for segment 52, I'm honored to introduce UPRN brother Shawn Kelly. Shawn is a paranormal investigator with over 30 years of experience. He founded Pittsburgh Paranormal Society in March 2006 until November 2022, that is. He has a podcast on UPRN radio called Into the Night. You can find that on Sundays and Tuesdays, starting at 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time. So tonight, Shawn takes us deep into the mystic forest, exploring the secrets that dwell within them, from the enchanting fae to the mysterious gnomes and the elusive little people. I introduce to you Mr. Shawn Kelly.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, how's it going? Good to see you.
Good to see you finally. Oh, my goodness. You're such a doll.
Oh, thank you.
You're such a doll. I'm Tony. And I am very, very grateful that you are part of the UPRN family.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So she called me her brother. I'm her, that's my sister there, So,
yep.
Everybody don't give her any crap because I know where you live. And, if I have to go to England, I will go to England and kick her butt. Or Canada at that, man.
Canada, yeah.
I'm not
Canada,
too far away. Hey, yeah, you're allowed to say that. In fact, I caught you a couple times already saying,
"Oh, I know."
It's okay. I love your accent too.
Thank you. I had some friends who are also fellow podcasters, and they kept saying, "Say A," and I would try not to say it. And one day I finally said it, and they're like, "Oh, she said it." It's like, yeah, it's just a part of me.
Oh, listen, just like Pittsburgh, you will notice as we do this podcast, or if you watch my podcast, Pittsburgh has its own dialect. Pittsburgh does. And we have our own vocabulary. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying, food carts, we call them buggies.
Oh, no way.
We call, the correct thing for lunch meat, like bologna, okay, mm-hmm. We call it jumbo.
Oh.
And you know how you got rubber bands, right?
Yeah.
We call them gum bands. Gum.
I have heard of that, but I didn't know where it came from. Oh, that's
Pittsburgh.
So cool.
Yeah.
We just call them elastics or elastic bands.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever go to Canada, which I do because one of my hobbies is I'd like to go gold prospecting. And
that is amazing.
It is. I love it. And I know I have a lot of Canadian friends out there that are not on the UPRN talk radio, but they are gold miners. And mainly they're out near Alberta, Saskatchewan, out that way.
Okay.
From what I found out in Ontario, there's really not that much gold. It's a lot of sandstone, a lot of slate up in that area. Maybe I'll find a creek there. And don't worry, 3 years I retire, everybody, and I'm heading up to Canada to visit my friends. If Canada's still Canada, we don't know about that yet.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, in Ontario, the mines that we have here are jeepers. I'm sorry, my brain just went poof. I can't even remember.
You know what? That's okay, because mine does the same thing. Mine does the same thing, Kat.
Mine does it too often.
Well, hey, I'm used to it. I call it getting to be old. That's what I call it.
I hear you. Yep. Yeah, my husband, even it says sometimes with my poor memory, he's like, "Are you okay?" And it's like, "Yes, I'm getting old. Leave me alone."
Oh yeah. I know the feeling. But thank God I'm not married anymore. Well,
Ah,
yeah, it got to the point where it just wasn't working out right.
I'm
But
sorry to hear that.
you know what? We're best of friends. It worked out better that way than it did being married. To be honest
And
with you.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
Yes,
You make
we
better
have a
friends than spouses.
yes, exactly. And I have a
Hmm.
beautiful son
Oh.
that is in Indianapolis, Indiana,
Hmm.
and he got his PhD in microbiology.
Whoa, that's
Yes,
impressive.
he works with DNA.
Well
And
done.
thank you. I'm really, really proud of him. He works in DNA.
Wow.
And real quick example of what he does. Okay, now say like you have a company, all
Hmm.
right, and you want to make a cow, right? You
Hmm.
want to make a cow. But say like you need the stomach of a cow, okay? Well, what you do is you call his company
Hmm.
and say, okay, I need a DNA strand for a cow's stomach. And they will make that strand of DNA for the cow.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
hmm And when it comes to the paranormal, he's a scientist, okay?
Hmm.
And he don't believe in the paranormal. But what I love about him is that he respects what I believe in, you
That's
know,
good. Yep.
and I respect what he believes in.
Hmm.
He won't bring nothing up, and I won't bring nothing up to him, and it makes the relationship great, you
That's
know.
good.
Yeah. So I'm lucky. I'm really,
Wow.
really lucky, Kat.
So, do you think if you were to find, say you're out in the forest and you found hair samples and you think it might be the big guy himself, Sasquatch, would you
hmm
be able to send it to him and say, "Hey, can you tell me what this is?" Or are
Oh,
you just not there?
I never thought of that, dear.
That's the first thing I thought of.
That's cool as hell. See, that just like went way over my mind. In fact, the next time I talk to him,
Yeah.
maybe I will ask him that question. I will ask him if he could do that. That would be cool, huh?
You might be the first person ever to have like DNA proof.
Right. That would be so cool. That would be great.
Yeah.
He'll probably say, I don't think so, Dad. Trying to like hide his scientific value. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, Kat, when he became a scientist, it just, he went from this Paul that I knew growing up and raised
Hmm.
to another Paul that, um, who I'm just so proud of, but he's in a league of his own. You know what I mean? And I love him for it. So when he was in school down at Ohio State, um, he would he tried one day to explain to me what he does at
Oh,
Ohio State.
yeah.
He tried, God bless him, in the simplest terms. I just couldn't grab onto it. You know what I mean? I just couldn't understand. I said, dude, I'm sorry. I don't understand. He said, that's okay, Dad. A lot of people don't. I said, okay. So what I end up doing, he would be doing a project at Ohio State. And the only thing I would ask him, because he'll tell me that he's doing in a, like a sample thing, right,
Hmm.
for for a test. And the first thing out of my mouth is, did did it grow in the petri dish?
Mm.
That's all I would ask him, and he'd say, "No, it didn't," or else he said, "Yeah, it did grow, Dad." So that's how I know whatever he was working
Yeah.
on, everything was cool. Yes,
Wow. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
yes.
So I thought we could start with your humble beginnings in the paranormal, and then we'll go on to the mystery of these forests and all the creatures that are in it.
Yes.
So can you tell us how did you get interested in the paranormal?
Okay. Back in 1983, I was in the United States Navy.
Oh,
We
thank
were
you
on
for
a
your
little,
service.
thank you. We were on an island called Diego Garcia,
Mhm.
and we were there for about 4 or 5 months. And at that time, I was taking a drug, anabuse, and that is to wean you off alcohol. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I had it in my system for a year. Okay. So I forgot to take my pill that day. Okay. And so, of course, being away from home, I got depressed. And I drank a whole fifth of Jack Daniels.
Wow.
Okay. And see, in abuse, you can't have no alcohol at all. You can't have no, I mean, any type of alcohol. Come mouthwash, the whole 9 yards. And
Wow.
so somebody found me, like not doing good, drove me back to the ship, and they got me in the sick bay, and I died on the table. Okay, I did die.
No.
Yeah. Um, and I came through like 10 minutes later. I don't know why, you know, but I didn't see the light. I didn't see the family. I didn't see the pearly gates. I didn't see none of that stuff, man. What I did see was dark, evil, dark, black, gray. And I didn't like what I saw. You know what I mean? I just
Don't
did not
imagine.
like, yeah. And so I came through. Um, and then when I came through, I started to see, hear people that weren't there in the rooms. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it bothered the hell out of me because I didn't know. I was like 22 years old, 21, 22. And I didn't know what in the hell was going on. I went to every Catholic priest, rabbi, Lutheran, every type of church, every type of, person of the cloth, to find out, like, hey, the hell's wrong with me? And no one could come up with an answer, right? And especially down in the southern, Bible Belt, because we were in South Carolina, and I guess they didn't want to touch on the subject. Long story short, I ended up going to Florida to spend my last 2 years in the Navy, and then I hooked up with a psychic medium. And she sat me down, and I talked to her what was going on, and she said, "You're an empath. You're starting because you're seeing ghosts." And I saw them all over the place. It was crazy. And the house where this lady was at, I mean, one time I spent the night, laying on their couch, right? And I looked up, and oh my God, they were all over. Spirits were all over in this house. I got scared. I did, because I'm like, whoa, I've seen one or two, but not this many.
Yep.
And I told her about it. So eventually I came back home. And in 1987, I got married. In 1990, my first experience with the Ouija board. Okay. Didn't quite like it. I don't like the Ouija board, and that's my own personal preference. No.
Yep.
So at that time, I started Alcoholics Anonymous. And by the grace of God, and one day at a time, I have 35 years sober. And
well done, sir.
Thank you. And 37 years without a drug. So I'm like, okay. So, but at that time, when I first got sober, over in Homestead, where I was living at the time, they had an AA meeting there. And I went, and this lady said, "Why don't you come over to my coffee shop?" She just opened it up. And what happened was she read my cards. And I said, "Can I read yours?" I don't know why I said it. But I said, "Can I read yours?" And she said, "Sure." And I gave her a reading. And her mouth dropped. Like, holy shit, how did you find out all this? I don't know. It's like I held the Cant cards and threw a card down, looked at the card, and whatever popped into my head, I just said it. She said, "Oh my gosh." And so she said, "Here, let me give you another deck to read." Okay. And I said, "Sure." And she pulled the second deck off the shelf, and she actually opened it. It wasn't her deck. It was a brand new deck. And I read her. And she was like blown away.
Yeah.
And what she did for me was she did not take me under her wing, but she put me in contact with a lady. I don't want to mention her name here on the internet, but the lady who she introduced me to taught me how to meditate. And when I started to learn to meditate, and when I started to find out who my spirit animals are, when I found out who my spirit guides were, okay, now I've gone through a lot of them. I really have. I mean, I believe that spirit guides are just there for a certain amount of time to know what they can teach you, and then they move on and you get another one. And then, and once I got the meditation done, I was invited by the psychic lady, and there was like 7 of us, and we would do psychic fairs on the weekends. You know, we would start up in Erie, Pennsylvania, and work our way down to Washington, PA. Okay. And it was 2 nights, Saturdays and Sundays, and I enjoyed it, you know. But to me, Kat, I don't believe in the spreads, you know, the cards. It got to the point where I was using psychometry. And so I used psychometry, and I didn't have all them beautiful crystals and everything laid out on the table. I didn't do that. I was plain Joe's who I was, plain Joe. And I enjoyed it. And then it took off from there. 2006 in February, I went to Gettysburg. I'm sure you've heard of Gettysburg.
Oh, yeah.
What about it? Okay.
Yeah.
And I took one of those, February 2006, yeah. I took one of those ghost tours that they have up there. And I was hooked right there, hook, line, and sinker, okay? And I actually went to a Rite Aid, and I actually bought 2 of those cameras that you buy off the shelf, you know? And I just went, snapped all these pictures, and I stayed an extra day because I wanted to see what I got, you know what I mean, on the pictures. I might have gotten a faint orb or something like that, but I was hooked. So I was hooked. So in March of 2006, TAPS has been out for about a year now. They've been on TV for about a year. And I said, well, I want to do this. And so it's called meetup.com. I put an ad up there, who wants to go paranormal investigating. And I got like about 20 people. And then we would go to cemeteries. We would go to other places just to go out and have fun, you know. And then all of a sudden, October 2006, I got my first client to do a house, okay? And it just took off from there. From 2006 up to here, up to 2022, yes. Now, I didn't completely get away from the paranormal. I actually help people. I help people with groups that are just starting, or, you know, a lot of people will send me some evidence for me to look over and want my honest opinion on it, and stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe I might get back into it. I don't know. But right now, I enjoy what I do right now. I do the podcasts on this channel here, and I help people out whenever I can. You know what I mean? So, but my job with the group, see, PPS was a front. Come to find out, I learned how to, you know, kind of like send spirit to the light. You know what I mean? Or if I was having a problem with one, then I'd call in my angels, and I worked with Uriel. He's my guardian, even to this day. And every now and then I see him smoking a pack of cigarettes. And I'm like, what are you trying to do to me, Shawn? What are you trying to do with me? But and then I have my 2 animal spirits. I'm really big into the animal spirits. Okay. I have a little, I don't have, he's not little no more, but I have a wolf. His name is Lakota. And wherever I go, he goes. He's big, he's bad, and he kicks ass. Especially when I'm in meditation. Okay, he doesn't leave my side. And if he sees another spirit or somebody trying to get into my space, he'll rip them apart. And that's just,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. He's big, bad, and he's tough.
You don't worry.
Oh no, I don't. I don't. Not at all. Not at all. And it's funny, I'll be walking down the street and people sometimes look at me or they'll look beside me, and I'm like, okay. And then they would cross the street. And I'm like, okay. So either, and that's what I worked with. But like I said, after a while, PPS became a front. Like, yes, to the world, we were a paranormal society.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But behind the scenes, we actually cleared houses of ghosts and demons and stuff like that.
Nice. Can you do that remotely too? Or do you
Oh,
have to be
now
on
I
the
do.
premise? Okay,
No,
yeah.
no. Well, at that time, I had to do it on the premise, but with the
Yeah.
remote viewing, I can do that anytime. And
Nice.
just send me a picture of what's going on in the house,
Mhm.
and then I go from there. And it usually works.
Nice.
Hmm.
Now, do you charge for that?
No, I was always taught, and I made this like my number rule. I'm
Mhm.
like, we were, well, I was brought into this field to help people and not, and to help people only and not to take money from. And that was even doing readings.
Mm.
People would come up and ask me if I give them a reading. And I'd say, sure. And they said, well, I'm broke. I said, do you have a penny? Give me a penny.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have a penny. I said, well, this is how you can repay me. Do something nice for somebody. Make somebody smile.
Mm-hmm.
And then you repay me. Now, you know as well as I do, hon, that you got to keep the energy flowing.
That you
Okay?
do.
You
Mm-hmm.
have to. So if I just gave you a reading and I didn't get nothing back, the energy would go like, whoop, and the energy will quit flowing.
Yep.
So that's how I work.
You're
But
paying it
when
forward.
yes,
Yep.
whenever we did a house, the first thing out of their mouth, so how much do we owe you? I said, do you have iced tea unsweetened? She said, yes. I said, do you have coffee and donuts? She said, yes, I can get those. And I said, well,
Mm-hmm.
you paid us back.
Yep.
That's how I feel about it.
Same. Yep. I heard of some teams, if they have to go a far away distance, they might ask for gas money, or like you said, coffee and snacks.
That's it. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely, man.
It's not required, but it's appreciated if it's offered. Yeah.
But after a while, I have had a couple clients where they would ask, I'm not going to not sit here and not give you some money. And I would usually say to them, well, I said, if you want to say it as a donation, I will take it from you.
Mm-hmm.
But don't say paid. But if you want to donate that money to me, then that's okay. And what happened would be is that whoever went with me on that investigation, I would take that money and I'd split it with every one of us.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but that's my story.
It's an amazing story. Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
So, Mystic Forest, have you encountered yourself fae, gnomes, little people, anything like that yourself?
Yes, I have. Yes,
I
have.
Do tell, sir.
Okay. And this started before I started UPRN. Okay. Because I really never believed in it until I started podcasting on this, But I remember the very first time, I was divorced from my wife and I was living over in an apartment. Okay. And this apartment complex put out different types of gardens, okay, all over the place. And what happened was one afternoon, or one like right before dusk, that was like in April, okay. Me and my son, he came over and spent. Now, granted, he's only 6 years old, right, at this time. And so we went out and we sat in the garden, and we were just there talking, just being father son stuff. And then all of a sudden, no shit, we saw all these little lights down around the ground. Okay, like like sparkling, little lights. And it was too early for lightning bugs. Okay. And he goes, Daddy, look at those, look at those, look at those. And he said, I was like, wow, check them out. So the very next morning, me and him go back out to the garden. There was a perfect mushroom circle. Perfect.
Nice.
The same size mushrooms in a very big circle. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? Yeah. I didn't know. So I had to go talk to my Misty buddies, my mystic friends,
Mm-hmm.
What the hell's happened with this? Like, I took a picture of it and showed them they go, oh my God, that's the most prettiest fairy ring I ever saw. And I was
hooked. Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'd go out, and even when my son wasn't around, I'd still go out and I would see them play. You know what I mean? I'd see them, my mystic friends would tell me, don't step in that circle or else you're going somewhere else. And, I believe that because I think there's a movie out called Brigadoon where a guy went to the other side, but he didn't want to come back because he wanted to marry the one girl there in Brigadoon. But all I know is that I was fascinated with it. Now, at that time, there's a park out where I live. It's called South Park. And I had this nice little place where I would meditate, okay? The way back in the woods, just far enough so people don't see me, okay? And I'd meditate there. And then I was sitting under a tree, and I was meditating. That was a beautiful day out. It was like 87, 85 degrees. Nice wind, no rain at all. And so I'm in meditation, and I'm like this, right? Right against the tree. It was an old oak. And I felt raindrops. I felt rain on my arms and on my hands. Like came out, and I looked in the sky. Don't look, it's not raining. But I felt. Come to find out, and this is true. The tree was crying.
Oh.
No, I'm being honest. Mm-hmm. The tree was literally crying. I was like, oh my God, the tree's crying. Who am I going to tell? I held on to that for the longest time. And then I just talked to the tree. I'm like, it's okay. Everything will be okay. And that's where I got that saying from. I say it all the time. Everything will be okay. And it stopped crying.
Aww.
Yeah. So, and then the cutest one, though, I was meditating out in my spot. So when I come out of the meditation, there's a mother raccoon with 5 or 6 babies just standing there looking at me. Yeah. And then I didn't know how powerful the woods could be, I could not understand at the time why when I would walk into the woods, okay, especially in South Park, you want me to go hiking? The hell with that, man. I might go in 50 yards and that's it. I'm done. I'm a city boy by heart. That's as far as I'm going to go in, unless I have somebody holding my hand to take me in. But that's about it. But I never could understand why I got this overwhelming, beautiful, relaxing feeling when I would walk into the trees. You know what I mean? Would walk into the forest and stuff like that. And then it took me a while to realize that the energy Because one day I was like really, it was, I must have been high, not high, but what I'm saying, my energy must have been flowing because I remember I got out of my car and I was at, we'll say, energy level number 4. Okay, we'll just say that. Okay, I go into the woods where I meditate. Then it became energy level number 9,000.
Wow.
You know, yes.
Yeah.
And so that's this was like after a year and a half after I really got into the metaphysical stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking, my God, I'm more connected to Mother Nature than I am in the real world. And I was okay with it, I was okay with it. I just, believe it or not, I felt safer in the woods. And then I would go meditate, or I'd just go sit in the woods, and I'd see all my dancing lights again. Okay.
Yep.
And I would talk to them. I really would. No lie. I would talk to them. And I'd just say, hello, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then I'd throw out a little bit of milk and honey, as a gift, And it just seems like the more gifts that I gave, okay, the more they were like really, really happy to see me,
Mm-hmm.
You know as well as I do, hon, there's no such thing as our subconscious minds. There isn't. There's no such thing. And what I would do is I would clear my mind. And whatever I was talking to,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and the answers that I received in my mind, I knew it came from that animal. It came from the fairies. It came from the trees. And they do understand you. They do understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And they do answer the questions that you ask. And they answer them, When I talk to a tree, I take my left palm and I put it on the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I just absorb what that tree is trying to say. And the tree will talk. If it don't talk, it gives off a certain vibration,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
If it's like happy tree, if it's a happy tree, there's a real high vibration that goes through my hand. But if it's a sad tree, then it's real low. It's not a good vibration. So I know how that tree is feeling. Yeah, a lot of everything has to be done by vibrations. I'm not really good at picking up vibrations only on trees, okay? But I'm good at understanding when I talk to an animal that I understand what the animal is actually saying to me, especially birds, hawks, crows, ravens, yes. Even cardinals, blue jays, they're a pain in the ass. They talk too much. They talk too much. They are, and they're loud. I'm like, shut up. And they say,
we have some in our backyard, yeah.
I'm like, I'll say, one blue jay came in, so I said, shut up. They go, and I'm like, oh God, no. But my experiences with animals, my experiences meeting the little people, like gnomes exist.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen. I've gotten glimpses of them. Okay, I have not. They have not come up to me and shook my hand. Let's just say that. Okay.
Yeah.
But I've seen glimpses of them. I have been in North Carolina. We were at a gold mine camp, and they have like a little bridge, like a bridge that goes like this. I have no doubt in my mind there was a troll underneath that bridge. I have no doubt, because I would walk that bridge at night, and I'm like, it's just a little one. And I just felt this weird-ass energy coming from underneath that bridge, and it was an energy that it wasn't good energy,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So I went down and I investigated it, and I didn't like what I felt. Do you know what I mean? Now I did not actually see the troll, but I knew it was a troll. Yeah. Same way I believe in leprechauns. I don't know how you feel, but I believe leprechauns exist.
I've never encountered any, but yeah, I do.
The elves, look at the elves. Oh my God. I got a book here. It says Modern Witchcraft Guide to Fairies.
Hmm.
You know, there are so many fairies. I think the brown fairies are the ones that are in the house that help you clean up. And there's so many different types of fairies. And I believe them because I see things out of the um, side of my eye, or I'll see it like this, but they're so damn fast. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
they know that you're there. And there are times when I'll go to bed and there might be, you know, a little messy on the floor, right?
Hmm.
I might have spilled some crumbs or something like that. And the next morning I'll wake up and it's cleaned.
Hmm.
And sure as hell ain't the mice. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's, and then and the coolest thing is when I process gold, when I go gold prospecting, I'm out in the woods in a creek and I could just
Hmm.
feel the eyes upon me. Okay. And I'm talking Bigfoot eyes. I'm talking fairies. I'm talking gnomes. I'm talking God only knows what out there. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? But when I go out there, I feel so safe. I feel really, really protected, you know?
Hmm.
And I just I'm, I always ask. It's funny when I start prospecting gold, right? I always ask Mother Earth if I can do it.
I was just going to ask you if you did something
Yes,
like that.
I
Yep.
sure do.
Yep.
I asked Mother Earth, and I said, you know, do you mind if I do this? And I'll get the yes. You know, I'll get the yes on that. But I totally respect the area that I'm in. You know, if I dig holes, I'm filling them back up again after I'm done. You know,
Hmm.
I try to respect the fish that live in that stream. Um, you know, and just Mother Earth herself because she's a beautiful woman. I met her. I have actually met her, and I'd like to share that story with you if that's
Yes,
okay.
please. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so at the time when I first started to learn how to meditate, I don't know if you know who Black Elk
Oh, you kind of cut out
is.
there for a sec.
Black Elk.
Oh,
He's
yes.
a Lakota Shoshone. He was my guide.
Mm.
Okay, at the beginning, very very beginning, and he would always take me down to a lake at night with mountains all around this lake. So he took me down there one time, and all of a sudden I saw two dolphins come out of this lake. Okay, and he said, "Walk out there," and I never said no to him. You know what I mean? I did. Well, as I waded out into the water, these two dolphins came around and they took me underwater. Okay. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to drown because you know as well as I do, when you meditate, it's almost as it's real. You know, it's just like so real what you're going through. And so as we're going down, you know, I see three gigantic great white sharks protecting this hole. Okay. Um, and then when the dolphins were coming, they all separated. They all moved away. No shit.
Mm.
It was crazy. And so they dropped me off. And as I'm walking, you know what stalagmites look like, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I started walking this path, and stalagmites were all around me, hanging down and up, right? And then all of a sudden, this little pup just came out of nowhere, okay? And it started to follow me. And so we're walking this path, and this pup just left my side. He was a happy little puppy, you know. And I finally get to this big open space, and there she was sitting there. Long, beautiful gray hair, white gray.
Mm.
And I sat down, and she said to me, she says, I have work for you to do. So, oh boy, you know. And we sat there and we talked. That's between her and I can't. And she said, I see you've got my gift to you. was a little puppy.
Mm.
I said, yeah, the little puppy dog. She goes, no, it's a wolf pup.
Oh.
And he goes, I want you to name him now. And I said, well, at that time Black Elk was my spirit guide,
Mm.
and he was a Lakota Sioux shaman. And I said, I'm going to name him Lakota.
Mm.
And that's how I got my wolf name.
Oh, that's
So
amazing.
Yes. And then she gave me a hug. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And from that time on, I've been on a race course, seriously. Doing things that were magical, if you want me to put it in that word.
Yep.
Were magical. I talk too much.
No, you don't.
Oh, okay.
If you had a guest that doesn't talk, you don't have a show.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. But that's how it's how it became with Lakota, how I met Lakota.
Oh.
And he's been with me ever since.
What color is he again?
Gray and white.
Okay. Oh.
Big, and he's bad, and he kicks ass. And that's all I can. If you need him, Cat, just call him. Seriously.
I think.
All you have to say, hey, Lakota, I need your help. He'll be there.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, sure. That. I do that for all my friends. He's there too. He'll go. Yeah.
When we lived in Alberta, for a couple of, because my husband's ex-military, and we're posted at Alberta, and backyard we had a nice pond where the birds used to like. When I did the dishes, I could look out the window and watch the pond and watch the birds fly. They'd skim the water. I could see their little feet going like that, and they'd land on the other side. But there were fairies there too. Absolutely loved it.
Would you like to share a story of one of your fairies? I would like to hear one.
I don't really have any. It's just they used to love the pond and play with the birds in the pond. Mm-hmm. And it was so comforting and soothing for me whenever, because we didn't have a dishwasher. I washed them by hand, and we had a great big kitchen window. And I would always, because our property had a lot of trees on it, which was unusual for the location that we lived in. So when I told people where we lived, they'd say, oh, you have like you're living at the park, because there were so many trees, and I just love that property so much. And I loved walking through the trees and just watching the birds, and it was such a nice location.
But you did see the fairies playing with the birds?
Yep. Yeah. It was adorable. It really was.
Now, I know I've been on some investigations. There's a cemetery down in Periopolis, and it's called Quaker Church Cemetery. Mm-hmm. And they have an actual like chapel on that. And it's a very, very old one. And them Quakers are evil.
They're
Quakers, what? The Quakers, the Puritans.
Okay, and what did you say?
They were bad.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
There was a big bad one that hung in the corner. Okay, I had a guy in my group who called it out. Okay, called that thing out. So I had to pull the dude away from the chapel area, right? And so we went down, and we were ready to pull out, and all of a sudden you hear a loud bang, okay? And what was wild about this, okay, was as we pulled out, the dude that was calling out that ghost, he called him out. Now, all of a sudden, you heard the loud bang, and that dude's tire had a flat tire. But what's crazy is that there was a slit about that big on the inside of the tire.
Oh
yeah. And we're like, we know what happened there.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Wow. It's amazing.
I could tell you some stories, my dear.
So, what other encounters have you had with little people, gnomes, fae, anything?
That's really about it. It just
Hmm.
they like to dance. They like
Yep.
they like to fly around me
Hmm.
and just irritate me. Okay, a lot. I live in a town or a borough. I live in a borough,
Okay.
and we have a ton of fairies there too. And again, I weave milk and honey out for them,
Hmm.
and they just come on. You know what I mean? So for some reason, I don't understand. I do understand now, but the phase they used to, um, they love me. I guess. I guess it's the energy that I send out.
Hmm.
Plus, everybody out there, you need, if you ever run across fairies, okay, um, you have to respect them.
Hmm.
You have to treat them with respect.
Because they can be nasty.
Ooh, yes, yes. And you have to be total humble with them. And that's the same way with the gnomes.
Hmm.
That's the way with the leprechauns. That's the way with the fairy, the little fairies. I know for a fact we had a brown fairy in my house because it
Mm.
would clean up the messes. It really would, no lie. My mom could never understand why everything was clean sometimes. And I'm
Oh,
not talking
wow.
yeah, I'm not making the whole house spotless, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But if anybody wants to get a picture of what it was like, remember the cartoon, The Old Man in the Shoe? The guy was a shoemaker, he was an old
Yes.
one,
I was
and he
actually
fed,
thinking of that story. Yeah.
yes, oh, great minds think a lot there, honey.
Yep.
And threw the bread out, and he fed these birds. Well, they turned out to be, I would call them fairies, or fairies or leprechauns. And they came in and they fixed all his shoes. As
Hmm.
long as they say be nice to people in return. Hopefully, they be nice to you. But if you're nice to animals, if you're nice to fairies, if you're nice to gnomes, if you're nice to anything, birds, if you're nice to them, in return, they're going to treat you nice.
Yep.
And that's the
Exactly.
way it should be. But we don't
Yep.
have that around here, huh? Not
No.
now. Not at this very moment.
Yeah. It's kind of scary.
Hmm.
Or we've had to cut a tree down in our backyard a couple of years ago, or was it last year? I can't remember. We had to hire somebody because the tree was just dying, and
Hmm.
so we hired someone, and then I had to mention that not right now, but we're going to replant another tree at some point. So please be patient. Just to my backyard.
Right.
So yep, just say, hey, we do plan because we're gonna put a deck and some stuff back there, but and then
Hmm.
we'll once that's all done, then we'll plant some trees back there. But I firmly believe that if you don't, then you're gonna have some bad luck.
Absolutely. And you know what? They understand.
Yep.
They understand it. And not just the trees, it's the grass, it's the rocks,
Yep.
it's the ground, it's everything. And they understand that and they know it's going to be okay.
Hmm.
I remember when I was over in that apartment building, my neighbor would come knocking at my door every night. Said, "You're not going to believe what I noticed, saw, underneath your window." Here it was a doe with her two fawns bedding right underneath my window. They even took pictures one time.
That's a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great sign. You know,
Wow.
every time I took my son out to the South Park, he would ask, "Can we go out and look at the deer?"
Mm.
So the way we came in was you had to go around a circle, like a half circle, right? And he would start saying, "Mother Earth, can you please show me some deer?" Right?
Oh,
So we'd
yeah.
come around the circle, and there would be deers right on the road waiting for him. And I had a hawk that left me a present on my car. Was a dead mouse. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And that was a present. I had my raven. He left me a couple marbles. You know.
Yeah.
In fact, it was my birthday,
Mm-hmm.
and there was the crow was on the roof next door where I parked, and he was out there cawing away. Oh, it was a hot day, so I think he was calling himself off or whatever. But I pull in, and I don't understand why he wasn't there because they usually fly away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, um, I got out of my car and I looked up at him. I said, "Thank you for the birthday wishes," and he flew away.
Mm,
You know,
nice.
so yes, so even though we have the animals, the birds, and everything that are in the forest, we also got the fairies, the gnomes, even the trolls.
Mm-hmm.
But they all work. It's all one big um, family, okay?
Yeah.
Because people might think an animal's an animal, like a rabbit, like a coon, um, or whatever, a deer, or buffalo, whatever. Um, but to me, I truly believe, okay, that they are magical too.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the animals are magical too
Yep.
because they come at specific times when we actually need them. You sure I'm not boring
No, you're not.
you? Okay, keep just
No.
wondering.
No, just listening to you.
Okay, I didn't put you
Yep.
to sleep yet, did
Oh God, no.
you?
No. I just wanted to mention that when our kids were small, we have two kids, and
Mm-hmm.
when we were living in New Brunswick at Christmas time, there was this elderly couple that had quite a large lot, and you could go pick your Christmas tree. He'd cut it down and he'd deliver it to your house. So once he would give you some ribbon to mark the tree. So and then we'd tell him generally pretty much that direction, whatever. So he told us that this one year, he said, "Oh, you guys are lucky." And I'm like, "Why?" He says, "Because he could tell that a deer had bedded down in the night before under the tree that we chose. It had snowed, and it bedded down,
Oh
and
wow!
then." When we got it home and we started decorating it, there was an old bird's nest in the tree. We've kept that bird's nest. We still have it. I put it in a Ziploc bag every year.
Oh wow!
But yeah, they're just like, oh, this is so special. And the kids are like, this isn't like they were so like because we let the kids pick the tree, right?
Right, right,
And yeah, it happened to have a bird's nest in it. It wasn't used. You could tell.
right.
And but yeah, the deer hunkered down underneath the tree that we chose just the night
Oh
before.
my
And I
gosh,
thought
that
that
is
was it was so it was an extra special tree to us that year.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And wow, that thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. That
You're
was
welcome.
cute.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, and every year we put the when we'll buy a tree, we put the old tree old bird's nest in it, and I have a couple of artificial birds that I just put in.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but yeah,
The bird's nest was cool though. That was cool too.
yeah. I mean, we did not expect that. The kids are just like, we want this tree. It's like, okay, are you sure? Let's look around a little bit more, and then they would go back to that tree. It's like, no, this is the one. Okay,
Wow.
tag it. Tell the gentleman, you know. And yeah, he told us that. I just like, oh, that was so. The kids were excited too.
No, I bet. I
Yeah,
bet. Now
yeah,
you live in Ontario, right?
yes,
Okay, so that's the east coast of Canada.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, and now,
We're originally from New Brunswick, which is the Maritimes. It's the East Coast, and
okay.
then you have Quebec, and then Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and then British Columbia.
Oh my gosh.
So
I,
yeah.
I do, since I've been with UPRN, I've been learning a lot about Canada.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
that's cool.
yeah,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
a few of us Canucks on the network, like
Yes,
Carrie
you know,
Lynn and Laura Lee. Yeah.
you,
JV.
Michelle,
Yep. Me. Yep. Yeah.
Amelia. Oh
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
my beautiful sisters,
That's right.
my beautiful sisters.
Well, Shawn, we're at the end. Before we sign off, could you please tell the audience where they can find you?
Sure, you can go on my Facebook page under Shawn Kelly, and the picture would be a picture of a guy with a hat and with a cigarette sticking out of his mouth. And you can also go to the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society Facebook page.
Okay.
I am also on UPRN Talk Radio on this platform Sunday nights and Tuesday nights, 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. And it's show's called Into the Night.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for being my special guest this evening. I really appreciate your time. And we've only chatted in the chat rooms and some podcasts. We've never actually seen each other. So I really appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm glad we did. Me Thank you very much for having me on.
You're very welcome. So if you hang tight, I'll say farewell to the audience, and then maybe we can chat for a couple of minutes.
Sure.
Thank you. Well, folks, thank you to my very special guest tonight, my amazing audience, and UPRN 107.7 New Orleans and 105.3 the Gulf Coast. Remember, if you enjoyed the show, please support us by liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting. Another way to support the show is by grabbing some swag. If you'd like to pick up your very own Paranormal Heart mug, just like this, if you're watching the video, please message me at paranormalheart13@gmail.com. If you just want to say hello, if you have guest suggestions or topics, please don't forget that website, or not the website, because that's not up yet, the email paranormalheart13@gmail.com. Until next time, take care of each other. Much love to you all.